What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I'm going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over what is really driving it higher today, go over some of the data points and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. Starting off, SoFi is up 1.64%, kind of low volume, so 12.4 million shares have been traded, 43.1 is the average. Majority of the volume being done today is linked to algorithmic trading because you aren't seeing all that much from institutions. Only 2 transactions on the secondary market today above $100,000. On a positive note, both of them are buys. You can tell that based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. And very, very interesting is that there has been so far no transactions on the dark pool. So shorts are rather timid today. So I'm going to talk about what they're doing and everything else in a second, but it's not necessarily just SoFi. It's actually across the board that institutions aren't really getting in. So a lot of the volume being done today is algorithmic trading because of this. So you did have ADP non-farm employment come out, 152,000 the actual, 173 the forecast. So a lot of people now are correlating this with almost 100% accuracy that interest rates are going to be cut probably in September. So you do see a very significant jump up based on the forecast. And so this is for the September 18th, 2024 meeting. Nothing really changing for the July one, but it is now 56% of a likelihood of a 25% basis point cut and then a 11.1% basis point cut. And so even 2 days ago, this was 0. Yesterday, I think I covered this under, I can't remember which stock, but I think it was around 3%. And so now it is 11.1%. So it is fair to assume that in September, there will be a rate cut. So a lot of people are very ecstatic about that, and kind of rightfully so. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Like I said, shorts aren't really doing all that much. They're increasing 293,000 shares. 17.2% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 183.04 million shares overall are being shorted. You see this sign of manipulation once again. So cost to borrow minimum is negative. So some broker out there physically is shorting SoFi, or at least paying people to short SoFi. So kind of messed up for that. But then again, this is SoFi. I'm sure every investor is very much familiar with a lot of the manipulation that does happen. Utilization is 76.83. And then finally, short score, so the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is 73.29%. So kind of interesting for that. Looking at options, 1.59 million in calls, 545,000 in puts. So dollar value wise, getting into options is kind of low. So something just to kind of keep in mind. So it's kind of mirroring exactly the call options, or sorry, the common stock. But on a positive note, 60% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that are being purchased, you do see a very strong consensus for it to be around the $7 range. So whenever you see the $7 range, it is fair to assume that's probably shorts just hedging. So I've already talked about that in kind of a large, extensive discussions in the past and whatever else. Right now, there's about 35,000 in open interest at that 7. So there's going to be that very strong wall. So kind of don't really anticipate SoFi to get above that this week. Next week, a little bit more optimism for that. And you don't really see much change for the 6 or the 650 strike prices. So still 5,000 at that 6 and then 4,000 at that 650. So again, just keep that into consideration. Right now on the actual chart itself, so with it at $6.83, simply trading between this S1 and this pivot. So the next target that you want to watch for SoFi to get above is $6.88. So hopefully that does happen sooner rather than later, whether it be this week or if not early next week. You also do have payroll coming out on Friday. So that could give more of a confirmation that there is going to be rate cuts in September, similar to obviously ADP employment change for that. So I think right now just the market wants rate cuts, and I think based on the data points, it will be coming in September. So I think that's definitely a very good thing. So the market absolutely loves that. Once it does get over that 688, then it'll just trade between this pivot and this R1. So 701 will be that next strong target after that. But of course, that's not really counting that $7 resistance brought on by options. So just be aware there will be a 7 and then that 701. So very, very tight for that. you do see more of a bounce for this, still lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. You do, despite it being green today, you do see a bearish deviation, so red line above the white, but it is considered oversold with it being at 10. So if there's a good piece of news specific to SoFi, you could see a rush of value investors getting in. So I think generally that's a good thing. Retail finally woke up from their long nap and did buy the dip today. So clearly rate cuts is that variable that people absolutely love to hear about. So yeah, retail is buying. Whether they do continue into the rest of the week, we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying SoFi today. And what is your thoughts, for instance, on rate cuts? Do you think that it is going to occur in September despite only a 56% likelihood? Or do you think it's going to be pushed to maybe the November one or December? Like, what's your viewpoint on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.